Okay, so now it's time to get your big rectangle from earlier from your t-shirt and put it in front of you. You are going to have the side, remember we cut through it, so we have one side that's open and one side that is folded. I want you to put the folded side closest to you. You are going to cut the folded side. So make sure that away from you, you have the open side and the folded side is where you are cutting. So we're going to go ahead and do cut our t-shirt, and you're going to do the same thing. Try to make sure your corners are lined up, and you're going to cut again almost to the very edge, leaving an inch or two, and just making sure your shirt is aligned so that you're not on accidentally cutting through one of the little t-shirt yarn areas. However, I am going to teach you all a method of how to attach them, because we're going to have to attach our other t-shirt yarn pieces with this big one. So I will show you a method. If you make a mistake and for some reason you cut through one of these, I will show you how to fix it. So make sure you're taking your time with these. If you want to mark them out so they're all the same distance and you kind of have a plan, that is something that you can do as well. So remember, if I'm going too quickly, just pause the video and catch up. We're just cutting these strips. Only a couple more to go. Make sure that in between cutting each of your strips, you're realigning your t-shirt so that they can be kind of even, because even mine is getting a little bit misaligned. But like I said, the cool part about t-shirt yarn is its texture and how it's not perfect. I think that that's really cool, like I said, for when you're using it for crafts. So there we have it, cut into all of our different sections, and kind of looks like a little bit like an octopus or a jellyfish. So we are going to put that in front of us with the little folded areas facing away. Mine got a little bit messed up, so I am just going to put those back together. Okay, so this part is a little bit tricky. So I really want you to make sure that you are paying attention and fully understand what we're doing before you begin cutting, because we are going to be kind of skipping every other one. So you might want your parent to help you with this, or an older brother or sister, or just watch very closely so that you are very certain of how to do this. So we end up making this into one long t-shirt yarn piece instead of a bunch of different ones that we have to reattach with the attachment method I'm going to show you guys. So we are going to make sure that they are pulled apart, because there's the front and the back end of this, of our yarn. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the front, the very front and very first one right here, and I am going to cut this all the way through. So this is the beginning of our yarn piece. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look underneath, and I'm going to do every other one. So I'm not going to cut the first one, because that would break our yarn apart, but I'm going to cut the second one all the way through. Then I'm gonna come back to the front one. I'm gonna have this up here for reference so I can count. And we cut the first one already. And then on the bottom, we cut the second one. So on the front one, we are gonna cut the third one all the way. And then we're gonna go to our bottom one under here and we cut the second one. We don't wanna cut the third one, but we do wanna cut the fourth one. So it's every other one you're cutting. And so 1, 2, 3, 4, we cut the fourth one on the bottom. So we're gonna cut the fifth one up here. And then on the bottom, we're gonna cut the sixth one. And so on. So we're just kind of skipping one. So we cut this one on the bottom, so we're gonna cut the next one on the top. And on the bottom, we cut that one on the top, so we're gonna cut that one. And up here, so we're pretty much like every second one we're cutting. And just like that, I think we have, let's pull it through to make sure we did it. But pulling on our corners, like I said, but not too hard. But I think we have successfully cut. And then we can go through on these edges where they're not cut enough to the corner. We have successfully made our t-shirt yarn. Now, like I said, if you had trouble with that step because you were cutting every other one, say you would cut like the first, third, and fifth one on the top, but on the bottom one you do the second, fourth, and sixth, if that makes sense. So we actually had success with this. I was a little bit nervous. It was kind of tricky, but it went well. Okay, so now I'm gonna teach you guys how to attach all of these. So we have our big pieces and then we have our two little pieces. So we need to get two of our ends so we can attach them. So what we're going to do is we are going to take our strip, we're gonna fold it in half, we're gonna make a little cut, and when you fold in half and make a cut, sorry if you guys hear my dog barking in the background, you make a little cut and it makes a little hole. You're gonna do the same thing on this end, fold your fabric together, make a little cut, and you will have a little hole. So you're gonna take the hole on this end and you're gonna stick this end of fabric through it. And then, so there will be another hole right here, the hole from this small piece of our yarn. And what we're gonna do is we are going to put the other end of the short yarn through that hole and we're gonna pull it all the way through. And that's how we are going to attach our t-shirt yarn. So now it is attached. So we are going to do this on the other end of this yarn. So we're gonna fold it in half, do a little cut, make a little hole, get the other end of our other short yarn. And it's easier to do this with the short ones because pulling through the long yarn would take forever. So we're gonna fold the end in half, make a little cut, take that end and put it through that. Then we get all the way to the other end, place that through the hole, and now we just pull it through. All the way through. Be careful to not pull too hard. We don't want to rip any of our fabric. Okay, here we go. And now they are attached. So now we have this giant thing of t-shirt yarn. So we're gonna get one of our ends and let's roll it up into a nice yarn ball so we can use this for crafts at another time. Yeah, we could definitely do, you could knit with this, you could do weaving with this, you could use it in any way that you would use regular yarn. Okay, so now that I got it started a little ball forming. I'm going to wrap it up just like a yarn ball. I might do a weaving project later for remote learning where we can use our really cool yarn ball that we made. But yeah, I just think it's really cool that you can make, since a lot of you are at home and don't always have access to art supplies, I think it's cool that we can make art supplies with things that we find in our house, like an old t-shirt. And yeah, I just think it's a fun activity that's a little bit different than art projects that we normally do. It's a little bit more crafty. We had to use a little bit of math, which I think is cool. And yeah, I'm just turning our t-shirt yarn into a yarn ball that we can use for activities in the future. I want to remind you guys that I am still posting daily drawings on my channel. They are not due for your homework in visual arts anymore, but they are just a fun optional activity that you can do, and I am still posting those. Wow, that t-shirt made actually quite a bit of yarn. I'm pretty impressed. And I really like all the fun texture that is in our yarn ball. Okay, so here is our finished product, our yarn ball that we can use for other crafts in the future. I had a lot of fun doing this with you guys. It was such a different activity, and yeah, I hope you guys find it as fun and as therapeutic as I did. I will see you guys in tomorrow's lesson or in today's daily drawing.